Hello, everyone. I'm Rach. I'm a very, very grateful recovered alcoholic, and I am so, so grateful to be here. So, thank you so much for inviting me. We're at such a beautiful place in the book. I know I'm surrounded by people who love this literature, just like I do. And it's an honor to share, to share just my take on it, and to be surrounded by people who share their take on it as well. So, we are on the last paragraph of page 83. Um, we are in the step 9 promises, and I always really make a point of saying that these are the step 9 promises, because I don't know what it's like in the US, but here in the UK, at a lot of meetings, it's like, who's got the promises, and everyone's looking around for a laminated piece of paper. Um, and I remember one of my teachers being quite annoyed about it, and he's like, what kind of message is this to the newcomer, that there's a piece of paper somewhere to be found, a laminated piece of paper? So I always kind of encourage new sponsees, to say these are the step 9 promises. This big book is littered with promises. We've got there are so many promises, some big that we might recognize, like the step 9 promises, the step 5 promises, the step 10 promises, the step 12 promises. But actually, the whole book is covered in promises. So yeah, I just think it's quite important for to let the newcomers know that these are the step 9. So I always say these are the step 9 promises, and they're in on page 83 of the big book. And then that gives people, an understanding of where they are if they don't know. And I also, whenever I do a book study, I always like to read the actual step, just to match the literature, because I remember when I first came in, and everyone would be talking about the steps, and I was into it, I was interested, but sometimes I needed to connect those dots. So if it's okay with you, before we get deep dive into it, let's just go to page 59 and just read that step for anyone who's not so familiar. So on 59, step 9, made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. So you know, I'll crack off on page 83, and then we'll kind of tie it all in. I'm just going to let the spirit speak through me. Last week I was quite nervous, actually, but I was also in somebody else's house, and there was lots going on at the same time, so I was a little bit distracted. So if we are painstaking about this phase of our development, we will be amazed before we are halfway through. I mean, I'm just going to break it down. I mean, I'm really, I don't know if I'd say fanatical. I'm interested, I'm keen, I'm really eager to learn what the most simple words, all of the, that lay aside prayer about, please help me lay aside everything I think I know, right? The word if is just a 2-letter word. It's so short, it's so tiny, but it's so powerful. It's so important. It means dependent on. It's on the condition that. So if we are painstaking, and forgive me if anybody, if anybody can't relate to this, I'm hoping I'm not the only one. I did not have the vocab that is, in this book. Not only was this book written in the 1930s, but there are loads of words in here that I didn't understand. So I looked them up, and so I've got some definitions here. And I'll share with you that I'm quite literal. I think I'm a little bit dyslexic, and sometimes I'm just, I don't know, I make myself laugh. I thought the word painstaking meant like a stake of pain. So I was like, but surely that's what painstaking means. I'm already scared of these steps, because I've been trying to avoid, you know, facing these things, make direct amends. I was also taught, just that the word amends, it doesn't mean sorry. It means set right the wrongs that I've created. And when I get to this phase, forgive me if I'm just jumping back a little bit, but there's 4 chapters at the beginning of the book. that really, really explain to me what my illness is, so I have a deep understanding with step one. We've got the doctor's opinion, Bill's story, there is a solution, more about alcoholism, killer case of alcoholism. They really want me to understand that. And step two is like understanding that they're trying to break the prejudices in my mind. Why am I so prejudiced around this word God? Do I understand that I'm insane to be doing this thing that's actually killing me, mind, body, and spirit? Step three, making that decision to turn my will and my life over to the care of God. Understanding for the first time that on my own power, I am going to keep on colliding with something or someone, trying to control the show. And then step four, writing this inventory, which is a complete list. And step five, sharing that with my sponsor so I can uncover what these character defects are that are just blocking me from the sunlight of the spirit. And 6 and 7, making me aware of these so that I'm entirely ready to have them removed. And so I'm humbly asking them to be removed, right? So it's building up to this place where I understand what I need to do, and I'm making this amends process. And then I've got these beautiful promises that are so huge. And I feel quite emotional about this right now because I'm really exhausted. I've just had a weekend of camping with like my sponsee family. I've just seen the impact of what happens when people start to recover. They start to put right the wrongs. They start to make amends. They start to see where these things are blocking them and the impact of that. So these promises are so powerful. So sorry, I digress a little bit because I get really excited about it because it means a lot. And you know, it's possible for anyone. So just back to this, if we are painstaking about this phase of our development, so the word painstaking means careful, expending, showing or involving great care and effort. Am I putting great care and effort into my recovery? Am I putting great care and effort into when I hear the promises being read out in a meeting? Am I listening? Am I actually thinking about, wow, has this happened for me? Is this happening to me? It also means taking pains to pay close attention to the details. It actually, painstaking doesn't mean a stake of pain in my heart, like I thought it was. It means to be meticulous and to be thorough, fine tooth comb. And that reminded me, so I called Howard earlier, but I'll continue. So painstaking, I called Howard earlier and I was like, oh, Howard, I just want to check if it's okay to do some cross-referencing in the book study, because I like to do that because I like for the repeated messages for me to notice them. And I like to know where they are in the book. So when a sponsee comes to me and they go, oh, I feel like I'm like, oh, do you want me to show you how many times it says be thorough, be careful, be painstaking, be meticulous, to be careful as well. I like spinning words on their head. Full of care, like it might not mean this, but careful, to be full of care, gentle, learning. I'm being shown this new way of life. And I call Howard up earlier to say, is it okay? And he says to me, I'm just doing some, he's probably panicked that I wasn't going to be able to make it. And he's like, I'm just doing some step 5 work. And I'm thinking about this painstaking, careful, thorough, meticulous phase of our development. This is the step 9 phase of our development, by the way. This, if we are painstaking about this phase of our development, we will be amazed before we are halfway through. But I feel inspired by that. because this phase of my development is infinite. So I'm jumping around a little bit. I went to a couple of cross references of like thorough and painstaking. So the big one that jumped out at me is page 58. Okay, so how it works. Rarely have we seen a person fail who has thoroughly followed our path. Powerful statement, right? We're going into step 3, thoroughly following our path. Just on the same page, a bit lower down, we beg of you to be fearless and thorough from the very start. They're begging. So again, it's this, am I being painstaking? Am I being thorough? There are 3 other cross references that I like when it comes to how can I be thorough? How can I be painstaking? And so you may choose to follow me on this, or you may just choose to listen in. But the first one is on the forward to the first edition. So it's XIII. And it says, and I always link these three things. I think I got it from a Joe and Charlie back in the day. But 1, 2, 3, 4 lines down, it says, to show other alcoholics precisely how we have recovered is the main purpose of this book. So I love that, precisely. And then on page 20, we've got specifically. So let me just find it. Second or third paragraph down, it says, it is the purpose of this book to answer such questions specifically. So how can I be painstaking and thorough? I follow this book precisely, specifically. And then the other one that I like is on page 45, and it says exactly. And it says, well, that's exactly what this book is about. Let me just find it. So 1, 2, 3 paragraphs down, it says, well, that's exactly what this book is about. Its main object is to enable you to find a power greater than yourself. Here's a beautiful another promise, which will solve your problem. If you want to find another promise, just go directly across the book, and it says, if that be the case, you may be suffering from an illness. Here's the promise, which only a spiritual experience will conquer. So sorry if I'm digressing away from that, but I like the direct, precisely, specifically, exactly. And this is like a question. If we are painstaking about this phase of our development, I could, I haven't got the question mark in there, but I could put a question mark in there. Have I been thorough, specific, precise, exact, painstaking, careful? And the word phase the word phase means a distinct period or stage in a series of events or a process of change. So again, I liked that thing when I spoke to Howard on the phone earlier, and he's like decades in, and he's panicked, like, oh, Rach is calling me, it must be about the book study. And he's like, I'm doing step 5. This infinite phase of our development. The word development is a process that creates growth, progress, positive change. I mean, this is what's on offer. And what I also was thinking about before this study today was all of the people that don't get to this phase of their development. These beautiful promises are all the way through our book. But this is a stage of these beautiful 12 steps that unless I'm fearless and thorough and specific and precise and exact, I may not get these results. I have to follow it exactly. So we will be amazed before we are halfway through. The word amazed means greatly surprised and astonished. I love that. And the fact that it says before we are halfway through, I'm getting this courage from this power that I'm starting to access. I'm only halfway through. It told me before, didn't it, that just on the last page on 82, Oh, is it on 82? One sec. Oh no, sorry, it's not on 9 out of 10 cases. Sorry, it's on 78. 9 out of 10 cases, the unexpected happens. The unexpected, amazed. This is astonishing. It's unbelievable what will happen. And my thinking is wrong. If I don't trust this process, I'm going to imagine, I'm going to say this, you're going to say that, I'm going to say this, then this is going to happen, then that's going to happen. It's all wrong. This is the truth. I'm going to be amazed before I'm halfway through if I trust this process and follow it directly. So we are going to know a new freedom and a new happiness. I looked up the word new. I use the word new all the time. I think I know what new means. It means produced, introduced, discovered recently now or for the first time, not existed before. Again, I love this concept of this infinite realm that I'm now tapping into, that I can constantly keep on evolving this new freedom, this new happiness. Where did I do a cross reference there? Yeah, the new freedom bit reminded me of in We Agnostics, where it talks about we've seen a new kind of flight, spiritual liberation, which is on page 55. Spiritual liberation, freedom, happiness. I've come for, oh, thank you, Rob. Thanks for putting that in. Yeah, a new happiness. I was thinking about my idea of happiness before I came into recovery. It was always synthetic. My happiness was synthetic, it was man-made, it was produced, but it was superficial, it was egotistical, it was short-lived, it was that elusive thing that I was trying to catch. It wasn't stable. I'm trying to attain this happiness. I'm not accepting the highs and lows that come with life. So to experience this new freedom and a new happiness, here's a big one. We will not regret the past, nor wish to shut the door on it. Imagine, I've felt it, I've seen it, I've experienced it. I've come into recovery so ashamed of who I've become. I'm disgusted by myself. I can't look at myself in the mirror. I feel like a terrible parent, daughter, friend, employee, all of that. And now it's saying we will where am I? We will not regret the past, not wish to shut the door on it. How powerful is that statement? And here, and we can do a couple of different cross references if you're interested. I mean, a few lines down, it still applies, but I did a cross reference to page 124 there, where it says in God's hands. So cling to the thought. Cling to the thought. Remember, you know, when I'm getting lost and I'm thinking, yeah, but they didn't do this and I'm distracted and blah, blah, blah. Cling to the thought that in God's hands, the dark past is the greatest possession you have. So that's just a few lines on the second paragraph from the bottom. If you don't have it already, in God's hands, the dark past is the greatest possession you have. The key to life and happiness for others. With it, you can avert death and misery for them. I've already averted death. How many times have I averted death? My dark past. Now, I mean, this just sounds bonkers, but I know you guys get it. If everything in my house burned down, you know, I used to be so precious. I mean, I can be a bit precious about some things, I'm not going to lie, but you know, I don't really need anything today. I need my experience. I need my big book so I can help another woman get through this work. And I know that I'm going to be provided for. I'm not ashamed to say that I'm an alcoholic anymore because I'm in recovery. I'm recovered. I haven't had a mind-altering substance for over 5 years. It's magic what's on offer to me. And I get to give this away. And, you know, I mean, I'm lit up 5 years in, but I also wanted to hold a space for anybody who's not lit up right now, who's not feeling like they're in the solution, who's not feeling like the promises are coming true for them. Let us help you. Come to the people who are lit up and on fire. Let's break it down. Let's go into the book. Let's look at your program. Let's see where can we improve? Where can we share our knowledge with you? Because this is what is on offer. And it's not always going to be like, woo, rocketed into the fourth dimension, because I have to experience the pain of life. But guess what? I don't have to drink on it today. So I remember, we will not regret the past nor wish to shut the door on it. I remember feeling attached to alcohol still. I felt scared when I first came in to go into the shops, and when I was around the booze aisle, I felt this weird attachment to it still. Like, you were my master. You are my master. Like, I'm scared of you because what has happened to me. But then something happened, these miracles happen, and we get to it when we talk in the step 10 promises, where it says the problem has been removed. I am safe and protected. I'm in a position of neutrality. This weird thing happened to me, you guys, where I felt detached from the alcohol. I wasn't angry at the alcohol. I wasn't ashamed of all of the things. And I can't remember exactly where it happened, but it lines up to these promises here. For some reason, I've been given the power and the strength and the courage and the integrity to do the right thing, not by myself, with God's power and with my sponsor's help and with all the women in recovery. All the people, not just the women, but I've got a strong tribe, you know? So we will not regret the past nor wish to shut the door on it. Oh, here's another beautiful one. We will comprehend the word serenity and we will know peace. Imagine that. So again, the word comprehend is a word that, yeah, I think I know what it means. It means to understand. But it also means to understand the nature. I like that definition. It means the significance and the meaning of. So, you know, when I mean, we're in step 9 now, but I've been shown how to tap into this power that allows me to comprehend, to start to. I'm only a baby in recovery, but I'm starting to comprehend and understand the significance and the meaning of the word serenity. I never really used that kind of language before. And thank you, Rob, for putting those definitions in. I've got some cool definitions for the word serenity. The state of being calm, peaceful, which is lovely. But here's one that I really like as a definition for serenity: untroubled. Imagine that. Untroubled. And I did a little cross-reference here to page 75, because back then in step 5, so page 75 is the step 5 promises. And it says, you know, we are delighted. We can look the world in the eye. We can be alone at perfect peace and ease. So I like I like feeling like this is building in me now. I'm growing in this understanding of the word peace, because it tells me here that I can start to be alone at peace and at perfect peace and ease. Imagine that. I've come in and I'm jittery and I'm afraid and I can't look at myself in the mirror. And then I'm starting to be alone at perfect peace and ease. And then now I get into step 9 and it's saying, we will comprehend the word serenity and we will know peace, to be untroubled. And again, this might come and go for people, but I didn't have any peace before. I was very troubled before, constantly. So here's another one. I might have time for one more. No matter how far down the scale we have gone, we will see how our experience can benefit others. I love that. And I've heard, I came in and I heard about this analogy about this elevator and how far down it can go. And I've heard countless stories about people saying that it only gets worse. It's a progressive illness. You can keep on going down. No matter how far down the scale you've gone, they've got a whole section for people that have stopped in time. But it says, we will see. So the whole book, I couldn't even go there. It blows my mind. I couldn't even go to all of the places where it says, the evidence of people getting well, seeing other people get well. We will see how our experience can benefit others. So I did 2 cross references here to this bit. I did page 77, because that kind of sums up my whole recovery, my whole program. 3 lines down. Our real purpose is to fit ourselves to be of maximum service to God and the people about us. So I can see now that my experience, how can it benefit others? Well, the cross reference we did earlier, 124, in God's hands. In God's hands, the dark past will become, I can't remember it off the top of my head. My dark past will become my greatest possession. And page 77. So I now understand that I've got a real purpose. My purpose is to fit myself to be of maximum service. And I also, this bit reminded me of tradition 5. And we can find that on page 562. And tradition 5 is, each group has but one primary purpose: to carry its message to the alcoholic who still suffers. So I've gone down this, back on page 84, I've gone far down the scale, but what has that given me? That has given me purpose. I understand now that down the scale, my experience is that great possession. And the more I give that away, it's making me think of the limitless load. I know Rob and Howard might help, somebody else on this book study, Dina, Big Book Slayer, that limitless load, that, and if I can't remember the exact phrase, I'm thinking someone will put it in the book, this is, as long as I mine it for the rest of my life and give away the entire load, then I'm always provided for. Might have time for one more. That feeling of uselessness and self-pity will disappear. I did a cross-reference here to page 52. That famous bedevilments page. Did you have a feeling of uselessness? Let me just find it. Oh gosh, where is it? One sec. Uselessness. We had a feeling of uselessness. So it's kind of in the middle of that paragraph, in the middle of the page. I've got question marks after it. So I've gone from, again, this kind of, they're trying to help me. It's in We Agnostics, but they're still trying to blow the prejudice of my mind of, this is my life. And back then, I'm trying to understand my futility, my pointlessness, my uselessness. That feeling of uselessness and self-pity will disappear. This is a promise for it to disappear. slowly start to vanish. How does it happen? How does it work? It's magic. It's God. It's the clear-cut direction that I have been given. Oh, thank you, Rob. Page 129, that limitless load. Dividends. If I give it away, how can I benefit others? I mine. I search. I seek. I be honest. I show up. I do the work. I mine, and then I give away the entire load. And when I do that, God provides. That feeling of uselessness and self-pity. Self-pity. Oh, listen to this for a definition. Excessive, self-absorbed unhappiness over one's own troubles. I'm going to read it again. Who can relate to this? Excessive, self-absorbed unhappiness over one's own troubles. That was me. And it's telling me here in step 9, this excessive self-absorbed unhappiness is going to disappear. I mean, when I shout about this program and these 12 steps, it's like, how could anybody not want to have it? Because that life of that is so painful. And what's on offer, if I am painstaking, is so powerful and so profound and so limitless. We will lose interest in selfish things and gain interest in our fellows. So I did a cross-reference here to page 62, that powerful sucker punch of a page where it tells me what the root of my troubles is. And this is all in step 3. It's telling me that selfishness and self-centeredness, that we think is the root of our trouble. Second paragraph down, it's driven by 100 forms of fear. I read it like this: 100 forms of self-delusion, 100 forms of self-seeking. Oh, here we go again. And 100 forms of self-pity. So it's telling me here that I will lose interest in selfish things. What a beautiful promise. And then it says, and I'll gain interest in our fellows. And let me just get this cross-reference right, because I jotted it down, and I'm pretty sure I wrote page 161, which, let me just find it. Let's see if I've got time. I love this line in the book, just melts my heart. It's a few lines up from the bottom, from the second to last paragraph, and it says, being wrecked in the same vessel, being restored and united under one God, with hearts and minds attuned to the welfare of others. That's the bit that gets me. With hearts and minds attuned to the welfare of others. The things which matter so much to some people no longer signify much to them. How could they? I mean, it just blows my mind. The transformation, this phase of my development. The more I give to this program, the more I get. And when I say the more I get, it's a weird paradox of, it's like, the less I want, the more serenity I feel, the more peace I experience, the more I want to give this away. And so the cycle continues. And what this also made me think, this kind of warning at the beginning of these step 9 promises, if we are painstaking about this phase of our development, we will be amazed before we are halfway through. If I am not painstaking about this phase of my development, I am not going to experience all of these things, I am not going to be hungry and thirsty and eager and keen for this, because I'm not going to experience the benefits of the program. I'm going to say, yeah, I don't think it works for me. I'm going to go to meetings. I've experienced it today. I just came back from my women's home group, and it's yeah, I don't want to end on a I don't want to end on a pet peeve, but let's talk about our day. And I'm like, and there's so many references in this book to read this book, read this book. Let's get the benefits of the program, because then it's very attractive. People are following this clear-cut direction. And my time is coming to an end, but I remember when someone said to me, there are 12 promises, and there are so many references, like there's 76 pages. No, sorry, let me get it right. There's 88 pages of the big book that is steps 1 to 11. Okay, steps 1 to 11, the bulk of the program, steps 1 to 11, there's 88 pages. There's 76 pages on step 12. How many pages are in between? There's 12. Of course, there's 12. I love it. And oh, I overran. Thank you so much for listening. I'm